What up, 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 what up? Here we go, here we go. We are back again for another weekly book review. Today it is my guy, one of the best to ever do it, one of the greatest coaches of all time, Mr. Tony Dungy. Uncommon. Finding your path to significance. And it's interesting because Uncommon, it's a series of books he has out there. He actually created a brand named the All Pro Dad, and we all know him as the Super Bowl winning coach for the Indianapolis Colts and the great years that he spent in Tampa. And he's just done so much for the game. He's pushed the game forward. I know a lot of former athletes, particularly former football players, that name Tony Dungy, he's done so much to make it so we are more than players. He's transcended the game. There's so many things that I do because I grew up in an era in which Tony Dungy was the coach. He was the guy, man. And, I could go on and on about him as a person. And this was actually the second book of his I read. The first one, Quiet Strength, was another great read, which is on the list of book reviews. But Uncommon, it captures so much because he really shows the type of guy he is. I'll give you he starts off the book talking about two young men, one black, one white, and they were both raised in privilege. They were both raised in very nice homes, very nice neighborhoods. One of them was actually in school to be a pianist, to learn music, and just doing productive things in their life. And he talks about them because they were both doing jail sentences. One was in jail for 28 years because he got caught with a DUI. He made one bad decision one night. He drove drunk and he killed 3 people, and he ended up in jail for pretty much the rest of his life. And the other one got caught with a gun that he was sticking up. He armed robbery. It was armed robbery, and he got 5 years in prison or something like that. And he started off the book because he started off the book with that example, because of how easy it is for young people to get swept up in all of these things in life. Like, we're talking about 2 very productive young men who grew up in very good homes. He even uses the example he would love to have had them. He would love to have them as son-in-laws. He says it specifically. They're the type of guys that you hope your daughter brings home. And he met them while he was in prison. And this is when he was coaching in the Indianapolis area. He met them while they were in prison, and he was just floored at the fact that they ended up in jail and the nice guys that they were. And he says this specifically. This was the reason for the books and the many books that came after. He has I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but he has an Uncommon series of books. He has Uncommon Marriage. He has the Uncommon Man. He has so many series of books using that uncommon thing. In fact, he has an entire company dedicated to mentoring and fatherhood named All Pro Dads. All Pro Dads, and I believe it's based out in Tampa. It's interesting because when I was working in St. Petersburg, there were several guys that I met who were part of the All Pro Dad culture, and so many different things that he does that's outside of just being a football coach. And I couldn't be more thankful to folks like him to show that show us, especially as African American men in this business who don't have daddies and uncles and things like that to kind of give us the tools and give us the resources that we need to be football coaches. I'm so happy that he shows us how to transcend the game. I mean, this is a guy, listen to me. I studied him as soon as I graduated from Stony Brook. He was the first, this was the book, this was the guy that I was like, look, I gotta read everything there is about Tony Dungy. I want to know. I'll lock myself in a room. I was just like, look, I need to know everything there is to know about Tony Dungy. In fact, I'll give you another one. The one Super Bowl that he won in Indianapolis, I have his speech memorized. This is how much I study this man. This is how much I study this man because, he was the first African American coach. He was the first African American coach that won a Super Bowl. And if you go back and you can actually test me out and check this out on YouTube. If you go back and listen to his speech, the reporter asked him, the reporter says, hey, how does it feel to be the first African American coach to win a Super Bowl? And he says, he ducks his head. He says, I'm very proud to be representing African American coaches, but what I'm more proud of is that we did this the Lord's way. We did it God's way, and we made sure we did it right. We were clean, and we did exactly the way God would want us to do. And if you go on YouTube right now and type in Tony Dungy Super Bowl winning speech, you will hear the crowd. You'll feel the crowd, and it's ironic that game in particular was in Miami. You will hear the crowd just yelling and screaming, and it wasn't just a black thing. It wasn't just that he was a great black coach at that point. He was just a great coach. And that's the Tony Dungy I'm talking about. That's what gets me excited, as you guys can tell. But I'm rambling. Let me get on to the book review. One of the things I really want you guys to hold on to. Page 117. All right, 117. And this is just for you guys to understand, because I'm all about finding your place in this world. I'm all about finding your career, finding your thing, finding what you do. He has an entire chapter titled Career, Work, and Money. Go ahead and read it. Hopefully you guys can get it. Let me show it. Career, Work, and Money. Says, page 117, I'm quoting him specifically. It says, don't be paralyzed over your career choice. Men who have been in one line of work for over 3 decades are becoming dinosaurs, even within my industry. Then he goes on, page 118, he says, those with internal drive who have signed on for the endeavor because their hearts in it will rise to the top. Never make a job decision based on money. So very important. I know I'm gonna hurt somebody with that. I've heard somebody with that, because right now you guys are listening in, or you're looking at me and you're like, man, I'm just doing what I gotta do to get paid. I'm just doing what I gotta do to pay the bills. I don't love it. I don't this. And I'm telling you, if you get a copy of this, if you just dive into a copy of this, you will find something. Even if you start by doing it for free, just little things that you can do outside of your full-time job. I don't know, go volunteer there. Go just do something that makes it so your heartstrings are being tugged on. And eventually you will get to that place. But you do not want to be in a place where you're just staying stagnant. Just like him, again, like myself, he grew up a football player, loved playing football. That's all he did, just like me. Became a coach, and then once things got stagnant, once things just didn't feel right, it's like, look, it's time to go on and do something else. That happened to me too, and it doesn't matter where it happens. And one more thing I got to share with you guys, and then I know I'm rambling, and as always, you guys can you guys can get the full episodes. These will be released as podcasts. So many great things coming down the pipeline. But hold on, let me just give you one more thing, one more nugget, because of the decision that was made, the NLI decision. Now that college players are getting paid, I want everyone to understand this. He has another chapter, alcohol and drugs. Alcohol and drugs. Okay, alcohol and drugs. Chapter 16, page 133. It says, I'm very sensitive to this issue. Based upon my profession and its financial relationships with alcohol, our league derives a great deal of revenue from alcohol sponsorship, which certainly helps to pay my salary. Boom! Right there. Listen to me. Listen to me. All right. This was actually echoed in Dean Smith. I read Dean Smith's book as well. It titled A Coach's Life, the head coach, the legendary coach at North Carolina basketball. He said, NCAA, they have beer advertisements all over the place, yet they want kids not to drink, not underage. They're promoting underage drinking and all this kind of bullshit. Listen to me. Now that we're in a situation where athletes are able to make money on their own, it is so important that we recognize these things going on. We recognize, just like he said, just like Dean Smith said, that the overall structure and what they're a part of encourages alcohol consumption, encourages people, young kids maybe not making the best decisions. And now it's up to us, for the people who have been through these situations, have been there and have done that, to teach and really create this structure for them to make sure that this decision comes down. This decision doesn't ruin the young college athlete, right? Doesn't ruin us. That's the takeaway for today. Please, everyone, go get a copy of Uncommon by Tony Dungy. how to finding your path of significance, and really take this opportunity now to make money on your own brand. Really read this so you understand the kinds of things that you can be doing moving forward, because it's an incredible opportunity. But like all incredible opportunities, they can be ruined if you don't think. If you don't think, brother, think. All right, think about what you're doing. Think about the opportunity to be getting. Aside from that, listen, I appreciate all of the support. Like I said a couple weeks ago, the Make Your Move Youth Center is going in the right direction. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Appreciate everybody that has bought a book so far. As I always tell you, I am just getting started. Like, I am just touching the iceberg. You have no idea, man, the kinds of things that are going on and the kind of work. And it's all because of the support, and also because of persistence and perseverance, and being willing to fail, being willing to put yourself out there and fail, and studying the greats. I read this probably, about 2 years ago. And you see how fresh it's still in my mind, just studying the greats and putting the information in my head to where it's needed, you can fire back. When you feel armed with information, trust me, there's no one that can stop you. Nobody that can stop you. I don't give a shit who it is. No one can stop you when you're armed with information. So get out there, get the information, and really apply it to your life, all right? Because whether it's me, whether it's my man Tony Dungy, there's always a path when you're willing to put in the work, all right? We'll be back next week. Again, check these out on the Move Swiftly podcast. By the way, shout out to all the people that I've already done interviews with. Season 2 gonna be popping. Season 2 of the Move Swiftly podcast is coming soon. Don't forget, Move Swiftly workshops. Make sure you guys get all that. Just check makeyourmove.com. There's gonna be tons of new information, tons of new things coming out. Appreciate all of you guys. Continue to move swiftly, and we will talk more soon.